Good morning, it's the 1st of August 2023 and my bicycle tour around Iceland continues. I'm currently in the West Fjords and I'm starting from here, Þingeyri. Yesterday I took a day off, but today I'm leaving and I'm going to follow this route up here, through here, which is a big tunnel, and go into a place called Ísafjörður. So I will share some commentary and clips from the road. Here we go, speak in a bit. Cheers!
Good morning. So after a day off the bike in Þingeyri, in the West Fjords of Iceland, I'm resuming my bike ride, and today's goal, I've got two goals. It's either Ísafjörður, because I desperately need to get some groceries, or I can carry on past Ísafjörður to another place, but it really depends on how convenient it is to pick up groceries and stuff. So I'm thinking I should just stop at Ísafjörður and set the tent up and then go to the supermarket and have a wander around and do all those things you need to do, like get coffee and peanut butter, cyclist staples really. Not sure if you can see ahead, but there's quite a lot of low-lying cloud and mist. I don't know, what's that at? 50 meters? 100 meters? So at some point, even though I'm going over to the left, there's kind of a fjord that goes to the left, I'm probably going to have to cycle through it. It's not raining though, so that's good. And if I go to Ísafjörður, should be about 48 kilometers. If I go to the next place, whose name slips my mind right now, be about 63. Today's journey does take me through a 9-kilometer long tunnel, or at least I hope it does, because if I can't cycle through that, I've got to cycle over a pass, which would be a bit of a pain in the ass with my heavy loaded bike. Doable, but I mean, I'm on holiday, why would I try and bust my balls going over a pass if there's a tunnel? But it does depend on how safe the tunnel is. If you've seen the previous shots, you know that other tunnel was like no worries at all. So if it's like that, then yeah, I'm going to go through it. And that's it for now. I'll give you some random clips from the road, as I always do. Up ahead of me is a causeway that goes across the fjord, so I'm going to go across that, and then the road turns left, so effectively I'll be going back on myself just on the opposite side of the fjord. If you ever have a look at the map of the fjords in Iceland, you'll understand that there's a lot of kind of going in and out, and it looks like you're backtracking on the map, which of course is also adds to the beauty. You get to see things in two different directions. I'm about to discover if I had a tailwind or if I was a little bit stronger this morning cycling though. Again, all part and parcel of cycling in Iceland. Had some strong winds, normally on the mountain passes, and they've been, yeah, I had to be a bit careful descending on a couple of occasions, but nothing like, nothing that's bent the tent over at night or anything, nothing that crazy yet. Still got about 28 days of cycling left. No, 26 days of cycling left. just had a quick stop and got chatting to, I guess you could call him like a council worker who was mowing the sides of the road, the grass on the side of the road with his tractor. And we had a quick chat about the pros and cons of cruise ship tourism. I guess there's a lot more cons than pros, or at least I think there is. And he seemed to indicate it was fine to cycle through the tunnel. Obviously I've got my lights and everything, so we're all good. And yes, it turned out that there was a slight tailwind, so now I'm cycling against a slight headwind, heading back in the opposite direction as I mentioned earlier. I'm not sure if over on the left across the water you can see a settlement. That's where I started this morning about 45 minutes ago. So I've had to cycle all the way around the fjord to get to this point. Such a shame there wasn't a bridge or a little boat that could have taken me across. Would have been quite cool actually. Although knowing me, I would have got seasick over that even small stretch of water. So probably not worth it. I've seen a sign for a coffee house, which I think could be open, so I'm going to pop in there and have a drink and have something to eat if it's open. And that should warm me up and fuel me through the tunnels ahead. That was a very nice coffee. Well, it was a big pot of coffee and a soup with some bread rolls. Had a chat with the owner about how life is changing in Iceland, where it's changing everywhere of course. And now I'm going to resume my cycling towards Ísafjörður, through the tunnel hopefully. Probably see ahead, it's like mountains on both sides with a cloud in the middle. So my guess is that if I wanted to go over the pass, it would probably be that mountain on the right or ahead of me. So I'm going to go through the tunnel, which looks like I'm allowed to do, which I've said before. Probably a bit boring repeating this, aren't I? But I can't remember what I've said and what I haven't said on these videos, so I'm kind of making it as I'm cycling along. Bit chilly coming up. It was, I had to take my top off, then put my top back on again like an extra layer. So imagine this is now the 1st of August, what it must be like in winter. It must be, well, I was speaking to the lady in the cafe and she said it was just like thick with snow. She's been stuck up on here before in her car and couldn't see like 5 meters ahead of her. Pretty wild stuff. So as you can probably see from the cloud around the mountains, taking the pass is not an option. So I will be going through the tunnel. There were a couple of campsites around here that I considered staying at. One was 4 kilometers away, and one was at another place called Þingeyri.
Follow this way for 10.6 kilometers.
I don't think it offered me many advantages to do that, other than maybe I could have got up early and gone through the tunnel in the morning before everyone else. So yeah, just going to go through the tunnel, and that's the way it is. I hope I'm wrong, but I've got a feeling that this tunnel actually goes uphill, which kind of defeats the purpose of a tunnel. I hope it's not as steep as this, otherwise I'm going to be crawling through there. Surely I've got to be wrong though. I mean, the point of a tunnel is so you're not going uphill, isn't it? Almost at the entrance of the tunnel, and actually it looks like I might be, because I've cycled up to the tunnel, I might be going slightly downhill through it, which is a bit of a result. According to this sign, our lane has priority, our direction of travel, which obviously means nothing when you're on a bicycle because nobody cares. And there's also going to be a junction by the looks of it. So I'm going to be going to Ísafjörður, and the junction is in what, 4 kilometers. So although the tunnel is 9 kilometers, I'm only going through 6 kilometers of it, which is a result. Okay, here we go. There's no path by the looks of it, which is a bit of a bastard. And I've got my lights on and I've done everything I can do. 6 kilometers. See some bicycle tracks in the dirt next to me. So I'm obviously not the only Malacca to come through here on a bike, and there is like some pull-offs. That's a bit worryingly dark. Okay, I'm going to turn the camera off and concentrate. So the ones coming from the front I can cope with. Ones coming from behind, I'm hoping to hear them in time and then pull over. It's not very well lit, this tunnel. Okay, about 4 kilometers down, coming up to that weird junction. I just carry straight on. If I was going to the other place, I would have to turn left here. I think probably easily missed unless you're listening to your GPS. Glad I have my sealskin socks on today. Some wet bits here. Every time I pull over, I seem to end up in a puddle. As you can see, it's 2 lanes now, but I'm pulling over anyway. Super pleasant, but the alternative with the fully loaded bike was even less pleasant, I think, especially with that low-lying cloud. The light at the end of the tunnel, so as it turned out the first 4 kilometers were the worst, and then after that it wasn't too bad.